is Starfield going to be better than Fallout or Elder Scrolls? And what does Starfield mean for the future of Xbox?
I love this question though, because it's a hefty one, right? And it kind of encompasses everything about Starfield and Xbox and what they have to do to kind of like bring themselves back up to the public eye, in the sense of like, hey, we have games, we have quality games. Looking at Starfield, it has huge expectations, right? For me, and for I'm sure for other people as well. Based on Xbox's track record right now, there's more riding on Starfield than ever before, in my opinion, right? I feel like that this is the game that people are going to be looking out for, not even so much to play it, but so much more so to just like see how well it does. We had Hi-Fi Rush, which was a nice little game that came out unexpectedly, and it did great. It did great for Xbox. It kind of gave them a nice little catalog of a different title of genre of gaming. So right now, Starfield cannot miss, and that's my thing right now, because although Hi-Fi Rush did great, it didn't like set the world on fire, right? It wasn't anything that sold like gangbusters or anything like that. Starfield has to be that game that Xbox can see as like, well, you know, Halo didn't do it, but Starfield did it. Now we're gonna see what this game has in store for us, right? And so it's one of those things where I'm kind of nervous for Xbox, because there's one big piece that it's kind of getting in the way of Starfield from being this massive success, if it is that massive success. And do you know what that game is, Rob?
It ends in a 3, right? Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes, Baldur's Gate 3. And the reason why I mentioned Baldur's Gate 3 is because it, like I said earlier in the episode here, it is being crowned as the best RPG ever, right? And on top of that, it's re-releasing, essentially. It's having another release on PS5 the same day as Starfield. So you got to think about it. It's like, okay, here's Microsoft, here's Xbox, here's Bethesda, here's Starfield. They're like, this is our day, September 6th. I think it's earlier for people that purchased the game earlier or whatnot, but September 6th is the official release date. We have to nail this game, right? Here comes Baldur's Gate out of fucking left field, being like one of the best titles out there, one of the best titles of this year, and now they're re-releasing the game on PS5 the same day as Starfield. You gotta wonder, is that gonna impact Starfield in some shape or form, right? Releasing this game, high praise, so high that they're like calling it the best game ever. So it's like, do you think it's going to take away from Starfield's shine? Do you think it's going to interrupt Starfield's release? Because if Starfield doesn't come out as a 9.5 or higher, I feel like it's going to get swept away from Baldur's Gate's, release, on top of just all the news articles saying, oh, Starfield is not what it's lived up to be. You see PS5 is the best. You see Xbox doesn't have any titles. Like, it's just going to get slammed. And that's my biggest fear. And I feel like if I was Microsoft, if I was Xbox, I would be kind of worried in that sense.
Let's take a couple steps back here, right? Let's take Baldur's Gate out of the equation right now. Let's just focus on Starfield. Xbox knows they have to succeed, like you said, right? If we look at all the past big budget Bethesda games like Fallout 4, Elder Scrolls Skyrim, they've done really well, right? They've gotten great reviews and they're critically acclaimed and they are fantastic games. This, I think, is also going to be a fantastic game because of that pedigree, right? Like, they know, again, it's a new IP because it's those games but in space, essentially, right? That's literally what it is. Like, if you really think about it, Fallout 4 is the apocalypse, right? Elder Scrolls is more fantasy, RPG-ish, but in the sense they're similar in the way that what they are, right? The big open world, one uses guns, one uses magic. Okay, this one's going to use spaceships and laser guns, right? And you get to go to different planets, which is really cool. Again, very ambitious. So that, for just a track record alone from those big releases, is good things.
Yep.
Now let's put back the Baldur's Gate thing, right? Baldur's Gate released pretty great, had great reviews. There's one thing that Bethesda games always have, and that is the B word. Bugs. Bugs. Okay. There's going to be bugs in this game. There always will be. Every time the new game comes out, there's bugs in Skyrim, there's bugs in Fallout 4. Are people going to overlook those bugs to give this game a great score? Or they just saw Baldur's Gate 3 releasing and they're like, that game was perfect, was fine, it was quality, there's no microtransactions, there's nothing. And are they going to see this and be like, oh no, this bug's not perfect, we can't give you a good grade now? But then you have Tears of the Kingdom, you have Nintendo. Game runs on pretty much a potato at this point. So you tell me, is Starfield kind of set up for failure in a sense, or do you think that you think it's going to not exceed expectations? I don't think it's going to exceed. I think there are expectations already. I think it's going to meet expectations. That's me.
Okay. Yeah, that I don't know, man. There's so much riding on this title, and I'm not exaggerating. Like, I'm literally not exaggerating on this. For Microsoft, I feel like they're literally, it's gonna be for them releasing that game come like 11:59, and they're just gonna be sitting, like, they're all gonna be, I can imagine them just sitting all like together in a room, huddling and just watching like Metacritic or something, just like staring at like all the reviews, because it's a big deal for them, right? I'm worried. You mentioned Bethesda, and I forget how, their pedigree as far as like they make great titles. They're, Western RPGs that people love and they know about. However, they come with bugs, and they come with a lot of them, right? And some people kind of, they kind of forget about them, or not even forget about them, but they kind of like oversee those things. But will they oversee them now with Starfield, right? Will they take that into consideration when they do reviews? I feel like, in all honesty, you mentioned Tears of the Kingdom, you mentioned Baldur's Gate, and now you're mentioning Starfield. I do feel like some consoles get a slide on things. I feel like Nintendo, even Sony, honestly, kind of get a slide on some things, right? And
Xbox doesn't, never.
Xbox does not. I feel like Xbox gets a really bad rep if they do one thing wrong. They get shafted, they get shitted on for the most part. And that's what I'm afraid of, because Bethesda is on it, and they're, this is their baby right now. This is the game that they've been working on for over 2 decades now. Will they shine and say, you know what, this game is going to come out with no bugs? This game is going to come out with like minimal bugs, at least, right? Will they break that cycle? And it's hard to tell, but they need to make, again, like I said, they need to have this game come out 9.0 at the start, at the very least. Because if it's not a 9, if it's not, even if it's a 8.5, even if it's great, they're going to get shitted on. And now that you have Baldur's Gate 3 kind of like surrounding that kind of talk and discussion piece, it's just going to get swept.
I still think even if Starfield doesn't exceed expectations or meet them, I think Microsoft's going to be fine. Do you know why? They got 2 titles still, they got 3. I was going to say Hellblade 2. That everyone is looking forward to. They also have Gear 6, which is the shooter that is loved by everyone, and everyone wants a new Gears game. It's been a while. There's a lot of hype going towards it. Everyone's getting sick of all the Call of Duties. Like, shooters aren't as like what they used to be. They're kind of just like battle pass, and add-ons, whatever. But Gear 6, we really need Gear 6 right now, right? Like, that's like the hero in this. And there's also one really big game, one huge game. Can you guess what that game is?
Coming out soon?
It was announced. It's being worked on. It's in development. Elder Scrolls 6. Now, let's take Starfield out. Let's say instead of Starfield, Elder Scrolls 6 was coming out and Baldur's Gate 3 came out. Do you think there would be any doubt? Do you think there would be people be like, oh my god, like this is like it has to get a 10 and yada yada? No, I think it's because it is a new IP. But if Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, people are still gonna like buy it. They don't even care. So Microsoft still has titles that are still megaton huge titles that are not, people are still going to still be fans of Microsoft, even if this is not going to be even close as bad as Redfall. I think people are afraid of.
No,
people are afraid of that. People are afraid of that. They're afraid of Redfall, again, and it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. There's no way.
It's just a matter of what Microsoft's legacy is for the Series X, right? If you look back at the Series X 4 or 5 years from now, what titles came out and what were bangers, what were something that you can remember for years to come. And I don't see that. I don't see that you would have a good amount of catalog there, you know? I always compare them, not to have any console war or anything like that, but I always compare it to like Sony, right? Because Sony has a pedigree of AAA quality titles that when they release, people don't have a doubt in their mind. You think people are worried about Spider-Man 2 right now? No. Everyone's like, this game is going to slap. It's going to sell tons of freaking copies, and it's going to be another major hit. You don't have that safe blanket with Microsoft. You're kind of like, I really hope this works out. Like, I really hope this is a good title because I need it. Like, especially if this is the only console you have, it's like, please God, let this be a good game. So that's kind of like where I'm seeing things of like, Microsoft wants to be, I'm sure Microsoft wants to have a Game of the Year title, at least a contender on, the Game Awards, right? And do you think Starfield would be one of them? Do you think even Elder Scrolls 6 would be one of them if it were to come out this year? You think
100%.
so?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think Microsoft is probably again, they just bought Activision, so it gets it, but they're trying to be the good guys. If you think about it, they are trying to make gaming accessible to anyone. Again, they have the Game Pass at every price point. If you don't even have an Xbox Series X, you got a Series S, you can still play on Game Pass. What else are they doing? They're not like gatekeeping things. They're just like, yeah, we're just like, here you go, like we want you to play. Like, again, look at the Enforcer thing that they're trying to do, the strike thing that we talked about earlier. They want to make Xbox a nice place for everyone to coexist. They're not really worried about, again, I don't think they're worried about Sony. I don't think they're worried about Nintendo. They're trying to do their own thing in their own way, and that's kind of how Nintendo has always done things, right? Nintendo's like, they're Nintendo. They just do things their own way, and no one fucking bats an eye. Nobody. Right. Nobody doesn't care. The game could be riddled with bugs, and like we talked about it earlier, like they get a pass, right? And Microsoft doesn't. But to me, Starfield failing or not isn't necessarily like the worst thing ever. And it's not going to fail. I'll say it right now. It's not failing.
I highly disagree with you, man. I don't.
And this is why we're the gaming duo, because we have heated discussions.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I see that as such a different, and in such a different light. I see that as like, this is one of their biggest moments. Like, do you agree that this is probably their biggest title to release right now? Like, this is like one of the biggest titles for Microsoft right now.
Okay, so why do you think that it's gonna be bad?
I never said that.
Okay,
I never said that was gonna be bad.
Why is so much riding on this title?
Because of what we've seen in their past. We've seen Halo Infinite not do well. The way it came out, the way it released, not too great. Redfall, not too great. Like, there's not, and their AAA titles are so far and few in between. It's like there's not that many of them. So it's like, now their next title is Starfield, and it's like, can this hit? Can this deliver?
Raise my hand. Final Fantasy 16. Did it deliver in the eyes of Square Enix? Right now, stock was falling.
Apparently not.
And that game's pretty damn good. But yeah, I think that it's all subjective.
Sure.
And it's going to do well. It's going to do well. It's going to be okay at best. And people are still going to buy it. If you're a Microsoft fan, you're getting this game. You're playing this game. You're playing day one, and people are going to love it, or people are going to feel like this is stupid. I personally think that Baldur's Gate 3, yes, it may be a great game. It is probably the best RPG, like people said. But I think it's not really going to tamper with Starfield too much. I could eat my words so bad. I hope you we'll release the video. I'll be like, yeah, Starfield's going to be fine. It gets like a fucking 6.
I hope not, man. Well, okay. So will Microsoft's like stocks tank and will Microsoft just run out of
No.
business? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just trying to make it clear to everybody that if they think like, oh, you think like Microsoft's gonna fail? No, I don't think Microsoft's gonna fail. I just think there's a lot riding on this game that if they don't hit, it's gonna make it harder for the audience for everybody
It's a credibility
else.
thing. It's a credibility
Exactly,
thing.
it's a credibility thing. It's gonna make it hard for everyone to be like, well, yeah, Xbox has titles, and here are their titles, and like, there's, you know, what catalog do you have? So it's just gonna make it much harder for them to like really show off what Xbox and what they have in store for us. You know, going back to your first question, I don't think I even answered it. Is Starfield gonna be good? I think it is, right? Like, I think it's going to be a decent game. I think it's going to be, in my opinion, I would probably see the game around maybe in the 8.5, in the 8 area. I don't see it being a 9, maybe. Who knows, right? It's a Bethesda game. People love Bethesda games. People love Western RPG games. People love Todd Howard games. So it's obviously going to do well, especially with the amount of budget and marketing that they put into this game. I feel confident that this game is going to do fairly decent, right? The only big thing for me is, will it grab people's attention and for how long? If it's going to be something that people talk about for, 2 weeks and then it just kind of goes away into the sunset, like, is that going to be an issue? Or is that going to be something that's going to be like, well, this is a game of the year contender? Like, those are two scenarios that I'm really interested to see. And I'm looking at this game not more so to play it, because I am going to play it 100%. But I'm just wanting to see how people react to the title, how people react to, the reviews. Like, I just want to see what people think of the game.
So yeah, I think Starfield is going to be fine. I think Microsoft is going to be fine. And no matter what happens, I don't think this is going to derail them. I think they're like, if it has bugs, it has bugs. We're not a perfect company. It's fine. That's pretty much it, guys. Do you have any closing remarks, Kelf?
No, I mean, I'm excited for Starfield. I want to play it. I want to see how it is. And again, I just want to see it succeed.